Where do I start? First and foremost, let me just say, welcome back to She Talks Life Podcast. I am your lovely host, Vaughn, and it has been a long time coming that I relaunched or introduced a new season of She Talks Life Podcast. Um, for the past, I don't know, it is November 10th. And it has been, tomorrow will actually make a week that I have moved back into my house. Um, on December 5th of 2022, I was on my way back from the doctor's appointment. I went to my oncologist and, we're following up on some scans that I had, and she found 3 lumps. And I was just following up, making sure, going through the process. And on my way back from that doctor's appointment, my husband called and said the bathroom was on fire. And I use the word was because at the moment he had tried to put out the fire, unfortunately, where the fire started, it was now exposed to the upstairs level, which then in turn led to the attic area. So I got here and the bathroom, the fire was out, but the smoke and everything was still inside the walls in the roof, and it just was like piling on, piling on. So the chemicals were there. We had to get the cats out, the dog. I called 911. The everyone came. Fire trucks came. As soon as the fireman went in, the first fireman, he was like, mask up, get out, mask up," because whatever he smelled, and we were exposed to in there for about 5-10 minutes, and my husband was here for like a while before I got home. It was bad. It was not good toxins. And so they came, they masked up, they went upstairs. We told them where the fire had started. And it actually started in my main bathroom in the vent where, you go to the bathroom, you turn the light on, the vent comes on, and, it evaporates out like all the, to keep mold from happening in your home. So they broke down the walls. They dug up the whole top floor, and they shut everything off, my electricity, my water, everything. And they told us we couldn't stay in the house because, unfortunately, even though the whole entire house did not burn down, by the grace of God, thank you, no one was hurt, but the fire was that bad that we could not reside here anymore. Um, so, we called the usual. We got through to the American Red Cross. They came out, they gave us a hotel to stay in. While I was at the hotel, I called my home insurance, got on the phone with them, put in the claim, and then they took over from the Red Cross. Luckily, we needed the Red Cross for only that one day so we could stay in a hotel with our pets and so forth. And so, um, we took the dog, couldn't take the cats, so we had to kind of like leave the cats in the back bedroom in the bathroom until we figure out what we were going to do with the cats. We had 3 little kittens. They were strays. The mama was a stray, and she kind of brought them to my backyard over, and I got to take care of them. Took them to the vet, got them shots and everything, all that, and they were back there and whatnot. So fast forward to a couple days after the fire happened, I had to come out and meet the insurance adjuster, the insurance company. Like, it was just a fast moving process. They had to come and determine like what the damages were, what the outcome of us being in our home. So, lo and behold, we could not stay in the home at all because they had to rip the whole right side of my house out to see the scope of the damage. The damage, my water heater got broken. The fire department told me that luckily they were still water in the water heater. So when the fire happened and the pipe was burnt through, it actually released the water that was in the water heater. And so that was what like died down some of the damage versus what could have happened. So we went to the hotel, we worked through the process of finding a temporary home. I found an apartment close by to the house where I work from home, so I don't have to rush out and go anywhere. There were times that I did go to the office, like maybe one or two times, but mostly I stayed local because I had a lot going on, and it was just a lot. And it was right before Christmas. My stepdaughter was coming in to visit from Canada to see her dad because, with COVID happening, she wasn't able to see her dad for about 3 years, and that kind of made things a little off put in. So when everything was lifted and she was able to come and visit, she was coming there, and we were staying in a one-bedroom apartment with a 13-year-old, okay? Impressionable, young, opinionated, headstrong 13-year-old. Enough said there. Christmas last year was not as exciting. I actually got sick on Christmas, and um, then a couple days later, my husband got sick. His birthday was a few days after Christmas. And I was really sick, and we didn't really do anything. And a part of me didn't want to because we were dealing with so much, the house, not being able to be in the house, and that kind of thing. But I made the best of it. I continued with my therapy sessions like normal. And then I had to adjust to a new normal for right now because even though it was temporary and we were living in temporary housing, it was a really nice apartment. The complex was brand new, about a year or two old. And I didn't want to go too far away just in case I needed to be nearby. So I did want to stay where it was very convenient for myself as well as my husband and his job and being able to get to work. So that happened um, throughout the year of 2023. How it started off was um, we decided to kind of like take a look at all the things we wanted to do as far as like when we moved back into our house. And we knew that after taking everything out the house and storing it, um, that when we got back in the house, we were going to renew ourselves. Like we were going to redefine things, right? We had so much things in the house that needed to really, like, we were just, they were in places and spaces. And sometimes when tragedy happens, it kind of gives you this different outlook, whether it's positive or negative. Throughout this whole course of this, I had many years ago asked God that, something that I know where I am strong in is providing help to others, serving others, giving others advice. I've always been that person that everyone comes to for some guidance in some form, shape, whatever. And I've always wanted to be a life coach, and I've always wanted to pursue that, but I didn't. My career where I'm at right now was sustaining me financially, right? Paying for my needs, my wants, my lifestyle. And so I was like, if I did this, what would I be doing this with? Like, how would I use this as a way to branch off and move forward? Like, there was so much going on in my head that when I was talking to God about things, there's like, I do YouTube, I do vlogging, and I will leave my YouTube channel below for anyone who's interested in. But there's a time I was going to the office and I was doing a car chat, and I literally was talking about how God was like, when you make this decision to do something that it's in your mind and you want to do it and you continuously, it's there, you can't get it out of your head. And I was like, God, I want this. I'm hearing you now. I am listening to you now. I am not taking my own route. I am actually following the path that you're set forth for me. And I asked him, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I don't know how I'm going to achieve this goal, but I would love to pursue this opportunity of becoming a life coach. And by the grace of God and stepping out on faith, I was able to find a way to not only find a good school that was accredited, Tennessee State University. If you don't know, I live in Tennessee. I live right outside of Nashville. But Tennessee State University had a program in sync with it for continuing education, and I was interested. I used to get emails from all over about life coaching and coaching in general, but this one really spoke to me, and it allowed me to pay installments. And so I started February of 2023, and I finished in July 4th. I took the test and I passed the test. And on July 5th, I submitted all my documentation and I was awarded my certificate. And I was so excited for that because it now really cemented for me what I was manifesting or what I was calling from God, like what I was asking for. And He gave it to me. It took me a while to figure out how I would use this and gain something from it. And so, one of the things that I did decide to do was I wanted to start my own life coaching practice, but I needed to understand what it was that I was trying to achieve when I started this practice. I wanted to know, like, okay, I'm not selling anything, I'm not selling a product, I'm selling my services. If a life coach is something that someone desires to have and they want to do the work, I am that person that's going to sell that service. And in doing so, I had to research a lot of things. The program taught me a lot about branding the business, finding your niche. My niche is wellness and mindset coaching. And the reason I chose that, now I am skilled in different avenues of coaching. I do have experience in all different types of coaching, professional development, personal development. But wellness and mindset is something that is very dear to me because when I was going through different transitions of my life, I struggled with my wellness. I am a diabetic. I was born with high levels of A1C in the 70s, and I'm from a different country, and diabetes was not really something that was prevalent, right? Where they talked about it much. It was like more so in the 80s and 90s that diabetes really took off and people were really, focusing on health and wealth. And so um, I struggled with my hormones and my weight loss from the time I was 13 all the way up to my mid 30s. I'm 45 now, and so it's a struggle, right? I went through ups and downs. There were times where I would be at my heaviest 200 pounds, and then there were times my lowest was 110 pounds, and my weight fluctuated throughout the years. I gave birth. I have a mom bod now. And so, you know, my son is 24, but I went through those changes. So, wellness is something that I really, really, truly invested in. I learned about my food intakes. I talked about food diaries and how to keep a food diary and why it's important to know what's affecting your body. When I was in my early 20s, right when I was pregnant with my son, I became a vegetarian. And I took that moment to kind of flush my system out with meats and stuff like that because I used to have really bad stomach issues and I did not know how to curtail those issues. I needed to figure it out. So after having my son, Um, I went to a gastric doctor and he did an upper GI. And, he basically said, I need you to stop eating meat for a while, take a break from any kind of meats and stuff like that, and just kind of focus on vegetables, exercise, and mostly focus on what you're eating and putting in your body and that kind of thing. Because, one, I didn't really tap into my diabetes until I moved to America because I never had issues when I was a kid back home. But when I got here and had all this processed food and all these different things in it, it just made the diabetes even worse. So over time, I was struggling with my health. And so, wellness, I want to incorporate in my lifestyle. So I decided to take a different approach. I would have periods where I didn't eat meat for a while, and then I would go back to eating meat once in a blue moon and so forth. It's hard to not do it, but you have to be disciplined. I can't be fully vegetarian, but I can space out how often I eat red meats and that kind of thing. So I had to figure out different ways of the food pyramid where I want to focus on my food. So I did a lot of fitness things. I did my fitness pal. I watched, the ingredients, all this stuff. I went to a nutritionist, 10 ingredients or less. I stayed on top of that throughout the years and I was going up and down, up and down, up and down. But then I realized that I would lose the weight and it would be great for a while and then it would start to come back. And then I said to myself, what is causing me to regain the weight over and over and over again? Why I'm doing the same thing. I don't eat bad. I don't eat unhealthy. I cook all my meals, majority, 90% of my meals I cook. What is going on? Where am I losing focus in my meals? And I realized that my mindset was not aligned with my wellness. And so, in order for me to gain and sustain and maintain, I had to align my mindset with the wellness treatments that I was going through. I knew that I didn't want to be on metformin. My stomach hurt. This is a name. Diabetic medication they give to diabetics. It doesn't work for everybody. My stomach used to be the biggest issue I had taking medication and that kind of thing. Even going to the doctor, he had said it's very rare to see someone with diabetes that does not have high blood pressure because you don't have high blood pressure. I don't eat a lot of sodium. I don't intake a lot of that. Like I really truly knew how to focus the wellness, right? How to eat right, prepare my meals, and know what I'm putting in my body, know what I'm putting in my mouth. But as I said, because of no consistency, the mindset wasn't there. I was struggling stressfully with work. I had all different things happening. Like life happens, right? And so the more life is happening for you, you're realizing that, something's not right. And so I decided that I needed that mindset approach. I need to figure out how to align the two. I want to go holistic, but in order to go holistic, I need to figure out what's keeping me from not doing this. So for me, mindset is about being strategic as well as also embracing that I'm about to change my life drastically and how I want to change my life. I knew I needed to lose weight. I knew I needed to get down to a certain weight. Like my doctor said, she needed me to be 145 pounds for my height. I am 5'3", and so 145 pounds was where she had wanted me at. I'm at 175. I don't look it. I think it's the way my body's proportion. So most of my weight is my upper body in my stomach. And, with a great concealment of garments, certain things can be hidden and it won't even look like what it is. I still have a long road to go in losing some weight, but I've gotten there. I've lost a lot of weight over the last 3 or 4 years. And that's because I aligned my mindset to my wellness. Like I owned up to the fact that I need to think positive. I need to balance my life better. Work life balance was a fucking mess. Do you hear me? I worked hours and hours, and I felt like I was just giving my entire soul and body to a job, and I had nothing left for myself. And I had to figure out, how do you get that back, Vaughn? Vaughn, what is it that you need to get back? What, like, how are you controlling that? And I had to sit back and said, I don't have routines. There are no routines put in place. I need to figure out what kind of routines will make me happy, then in turn around and make me be a better person overall with my wellness. I bought, when the pandemic happened, I bought a bike. I rid the bike. I got up every morning. I put on my fancy workout gear, and I actually turned on YouTube, got on the bike, found the little 30-minute workout, and just kept going, going, going. And then I also went on walks. Walks was what really helped me align my wellness and my mindset, because on my walks, I realized that I was thinking and growing. I would listen to music. I would, be walking the dog. I made sure that there were days where I'm like, damn, I don't want to do this 3 mile walk, but I pushed myself to do it. Evening times when my husband came home, and that was the thing. I had someone with me who was also trying to do it with me, and that even made it more fun. It made it more exciting because I had partnership, and we were just laughing and enjoying the moment. We would go on walks on weekends. We'd go to the trails. We'd do 6 miles. We would go out to the state parks. We would walk. We would hike. I enjoyed hiking. I love to hike. I think hiking has become something that I can't give up. We'd go to state parks and we'd hike a mile or two just to get out the fresh air, the feeling of just the earth inside of me. I'm an earth sign, and I love earth. I love to be outside. I love to be in nature. I love to know that I can breathe. And when the closer you are into the city, the congestion and that kind of thing. So I was looking into like all of that. I looked into like, how can I, you know, get away from the city and close off all the other stuff. I needed to really focus on what my mental health was looking like. I worked through a lot of things in therapy. Therapy has really, truly been my defining moment. I've learned so much about myself, past, present, and future, um, in therapy. And it has really opened up my eyes that everyone who shies away from therapy, that's something they have to make relationship with, right? They have to come to grips with that. For me, I didn't need to come to grips with that. I made the sole decision to go to therapy because I knew that I was hurting. I was hurting in so many different areas of my life. I was hurting mentally. I was hurting my inner child. I was hurting my relationship with God. I was also hurting my relationship with a partner. And then as I focus on that and branching out and learning who I am, I realize how much that I truly enjoy the woman I am today that's talking to you on this mic. The girl, and I say it this way, the girl before had a lot of healing to do. I'm a woman, and this woman has healed so many different parts of herself that the more she continues to heal and grow, the more she defines who she is and who she wants the world to see. And I think that even though it took me a while, it took some years, it took some time to get back to where I thought I was. And I say get back to, but the part that I had to get back to was actually recognizing that I needed to change. That's the part that I had to get back to. All the other stuff, like the change in the processes that I went through, the tools that I implemented in my life, those are the things that are brand new because I never did them before. But now that I've done them and have incorporated them in my life, I am starting to see a difference. I'm starting to see what I want to do in the future. The company I started is called Flashcore Life Coaching. I chose that name because I feel like when we want to change, we only want to change surface level changes. And in order to heal and guide and grow, I feel we have to heal that core self in order for us to move forward to the next step. And so that's why I named it Flash Core Life Coaching, because yes, it is not a, this is not therapy. My business is, I'm not a therapist. I am a coach. I am coaching you through goals, setting goals, skill sets, those kind of things. And so this programs that I'm offering, or these coaching sessions I'm offering, they can range from 3 weeks to 6 weeks to a month or 2 months, depending on what you feel you need to get accomplished out of it. This is for you. So when I come to you as your coach and you sign up with me, you tell me what you want to get out of this, and then I create the plan that I think will suit you based off of what the initial consultation. I do free consultations. I think as a new coach, I won't charge for consultations. I feel like people need to be able to come in and, see if this is something they're interested in without any hidden interest or anything like that. So that's why a free 30-minute consultation is best through what I have offering. I am working on getting the website up. I've already registered the business with the state of Tennessee, and I'm in the process of really launching this business. There are things that people say you shouldn't talk about, but this is one of those things that I want to talk about because it's been set in motion. It's November. The year of 2023 is almost over. These things are set in motion, has been done in motion, so I can talk about them. We're going to have a website. We're going to have some newsletters that are going to come out. We're going to have chats on the podcast. She Talks Life is going to be incorporated into Flashcore Life Coaching because we're going to talk about life. That's what life coaches do. We talk about areas of life that we think you can navigate through and successfully be where you want to be and position you in the right direction. With that being said, thank you so much for listening to She Talks Life. This is your host, Vaughn, and I will see you back here for another episode. I do not know what the regular schedule will be looking like, but we're hoping that I can bring you 2 episodes a week. And I hope you enjoyed this. I didn't share a whole lot. Like I said, we're back in our home. And I'm working through that. Maybe on the next episode, we'll talk a little bit more about the struggles that I've been through. But I wanted to kind of relaunch, and this was the way I wanted to start the relaunch. So I hope that you guys enjoy the episode. If you've listened to any of the previous episodes, please go ahead and listen, get to know the host, myself. And yeah, leave, like, subscribe to the podcast, and I will see you back here. Bye, guys.